Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another live here this morning. And as usual, we'll just wait a moment or two till some folks come on and say hi to us. And Annette, good morning to you. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, Dave, good morning to you. Rosa, Montreal, Nativity, good morning to you. And John, you know where John's from? Elgin, Illinois. Maria, Nick from our staff, and Francis Marie. Dan, how are you? And Helena this morning. Madeleine, good morning to you. And Frida, and Ruby, and Micheline, Sturgeon Falls. Brenda, good morning. Lara and Rita and Shelley from New Brunswick. Jerry and Betty. Tiny Beaches. Lorraine and Lucille. Colleen, good morning, guys. Hello. Bonjour. Sherry and Dwayne. Leela, Werner, Jeanette, Catherine, Springdale, Newfoundland, and Shirley. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Deb from Timmins, Maria, Helena, good morning, Suzanne, and Natalie, Lisa Marie, and Alicia, good morning to you. So guys, thank you very much for coming on, and BB, you're the last one I'm going to say hello to this morning, then I'll come on afterwards and say hello. Guys, I'm just going to make a blanket statement, and we're going to get into something that's really important here this morning. Nothing new except a new study. But it's old stuff because I've talked about this in the past. But I just want to say this, guys. I want to say this. A blanket statement. Selling sickness is a big business. Now, my pet peeve, one of the things that has frustrated me the most in the last 18 months has been the lack of talk about your body, its immune system, its ability to fight. You have an immune system. Selling sickness is a big business, guys. It's unbelievable that we are not talking about our population in North America. Fact. 88% of the population has some form of metabolic disorder. But selling sickness is a big business. Instead of talking, hey, folks, can you imagine the effect of telling people, promoting good health? And I'm going to tell you something, folks, and you know this, so I'm preaching to the choir this morning. There is nothing that you can do that is better for your health than to start with food. Food. You are what you eat. It doesn't affect your personality, but it sure affects your health. I was reading in Proverbs, even there, don't eat too much honey. Even written thousands of years ago, don't eat too much honey. Like, honey's good, especially in those days. Honey was good, but don't eat too much of it. Imagine. Written by Solomon, probably the smartest guy that ever lived, other than Jesus Christ. So guys, think about this for a minute. Like, I'm news behind the news. And I think we got exposed the frailty of, especially North Americans. Our frailty is that we're so susceptible to disease because we don't take care of ourselves. Right? The gyms are full in January and empty in February. Why is that? Oh, I didn't know it was going to be hard. I didn't know I'd have to make a commitment. I was hoping, because what the pharmaceutical industry, and guys, look, there's two main drivers in terms of our society today. Two main ones. That is the pharmaceutical industry, big pharma. And again, please don't come after me. They do wonderful things. They make wonderful medications. There are some meds that you need if you get sick or whatever. I don't say let's take away the pharmaceutical industry. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is there's no one that influences our society, and we've really seen it in the last 18 months, like big pharma. And the second one is big food. There's 7 or 8 companies left in the food industry, the big ones. They bought up all the others. And they drive the narrative. A big pharma drives the narrative. And nobody's talking about taking care of yourself. Taking responsibility for your own body. You can't affect anybody else until you take care of yourself. And again, I know you know this, but I want to reinforce it by what I'm going to say in a new study done recently that followed people for 6 years. And they came to some very interesting conclusions that I will share with you this morning. And it will encourage you to take care of yourself, to discipline yourself. And this is what I like about, I get a chance on a daily basis to pump up your tires, to keep you on the straight and narrow. And our private Facebook group and that's great because it pumps people up. Like it's never easy to go against the narrative. Like que sera, sera. Like you got no control over your body, so eat, drink, and be merry. No. Because we live in a different world. I never in my lifetime thought I would see. Never in my lifetime I thought I would see where society as a whole, and I can only speak of North America, where 88% of the population is not well. I mean, that's incredible, guys. So let me just tell you what they tested. And they followed people for 6 years, okay? And let me just read it to you. Okay? How do you know if you are metabolically unhealthy? According to this study, and this is, how do you know if you are metabolically unhealthy? Well, you are metabolically healthy if, okay? If you have an ideal waist measurement, okay? So this is what this study said. 2, you have normal blood sugar levels. 3, you have normal blood pressure. 4, you have normal triglycerides and HDL. Isn't that interesting? That when they did this study, they talked about the importance not of having low cholesterol, of actually having high HDL and low triglycerides. Okay? And, oh, by the way, they said this in the study, and if you're not on any medications for any of those things, so you're not on statin drugs, you're not on blood pressure medication, you're not on metformin or anything for your blood sugar, normal or ideal waist, okay? Ideal waist size. So, and what they're saying is, for 6 years, they put people into 3 categories. Those who had ideal HDL and triglycerides. Remember, they go together, guys. They go together. 99.9% of the time, if you have low triglycerides, fat balls, and you know where they came from, because we talked about it yesterday, the liver. If you have normal triglycerides, you're going to have elevated HDL. Your HDL will be higher than your triglycerides. That's healthy. And a lot of people are upside down. They never know it. Even if they have blood work, they never know it because nobody talks about it. It's not flagged. The only time they ever flag triglycerides is when they're through the stinking roof. And guys, everything that was said, and they're going to prove it with their studies, okay? So they took people that had all the better than normal measurements that I just talked to. Okay? Of metabolic biomarkers. Very good triglycerides in HDL. Okay? They go together. Very good. Low triglycerides, higher HDL. You want high cholesterol. 2. Okay? Normal blood pressure, but they even went better than that. For one group, okay? They followed the group where when they measured their blood pressure, they were in ideal territory. That is 120 over 85. Excuse me, 120 over 80. The middle group was 120 over 85. And the third group that they tested was over 130 in the top number and over 90, the second number. And remember, none of these people were on medication. They were just measured. You had 3 groups. One ideal. The second, what we would call, you're normal. And third, they were in, even though nobody, said they were sick, they had less than ideal numbers in all categories. They had a tummy. They had belly fat. They had higher levels of blood pressure, even though they were, high normal type of thing, they had high triglycerides and lower HDL. They were upside down on those markers. Their blood glucose and A1C was higher than it should be. They were put into categories. 1, very good. 2, normal. 3, not so good. You know what happened after 6 years, guys? They just followed them. After 6 years, you know the group that was ideal here? Not one in the group. 200 people. 200 people in each group. Terrific study. 6 years of data. You know what they found? The people that had ideal biomarkers, none of them, not one of them, got a chronic disease. None of them got in 6 years. Not one of them got cancer. Not one of them had heart disease like a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. Not one of them got an autoimmune disorder. Not one of them became diabetics. Not one of them. The middle group, a few, and the third group, what does it say here? Let me just read the study to you. The third group had a significantly higher, rates of cancer, cardiovascular disease, heart attack, and stroke in 6 years. The third group had, some of them became dementia. They got dementia, Alzheimer's. The chronic diseases that you and I talk about on a daily basis, that third group were in deep doo-doo even before they started the study. The moral of the story is, it all has to do with food, because the people in the first group of the best of the best. 12% of the population, according to huge studies, are in this group. 12%. That's it. And you know what the number one characteristic is? Because it affects your blood pressure, it affects your blood sugar, it affects your inflammation. It's insulin. And more specifically, it's insulin resistance. It's the common denominator. The study proved it. Your triglycerides and HDL, guys, it's an insulin, it's food. Somebody asked me the other day, why are you so passionate? I think they meant to say, why are you so loud? They used the word passionate not to offend me. You don't have to, you won't offend me if you call me loud, okay? Because I'm loud. You know, my son introduces me. We often do. And by the way, I think we're going to do a webinar next week. We talked about it yesterday, Tony Jr. and I. We're going to do a webinar next week. We'll let you know. Okay? We'll let you know, but it looks like it's on. And my son used to, when we did, we did, in the days, remember in the days when there was live seminars? I miss those days. I'm a people person. I love people. I love to put my arms around people, talk to them face to face, without a mask. Ooh. But my son used to introduce me and say, here's my dad who's got a built-in microphone in his throat. I got a loud voice. I think it was because we had 11 children, not my wife and I, but I came from a home of 11 children. We had to scream to get heard. That's the excuse I use. All of my family's pretty loud. So all I'm saying, guys, think about this. I know you know this, but I just got to tell you again, when I read these studies, I scream inside, world, wake up. It's food. It's food. If you want to be healthy, you better start with that. You better start with that. It's the foundation. It's the first thing. I know vitamin E is important, exercise. It's good. I love it. It's wonderful. But you cannot out-exercise, a bad diet. I know fasting is good. I get people coming at me every day. Doc, you don't talk about fasting enough. Well, I like fasting. I like fasting without fasting, especially. But I like fasting. But you can't out-fast a bad diet. You can't. You can't. I love probiotics. You know that. Foundational supplement. You know that. But you can't out-supplement a bad diet. You can't. You can't out-supplement. You can't out-vitamin D-ish. You know how much I love vitamin D? You know how much I love vitamin D. Every day I could do a show on vitamin D. Every day, I mean it. That's how many studies there are on the importance of Viderma. The real thing that you need for your immune system. If you don't have Viderma, your immune system not going to work properly. But you can't take vitamin D and outdo a bad diet, guys. You can't. Because at the root of all disease, it's food. And there's a hormone that your body secretes that is the key. It's called insulin. And if your insulin isn't right, if you have insulin resistance, you're on the Titanic. Oh, it might look good. You know, very scenic. Look at the stars. They're so beautiful. Because you might not have any symptoms. Nobody analyzed you properly. There's clues, but nobody told you even to look for those clues. So you're stargazing on the Titanic. And you might be even rearranging the deck chairs. Hello? That's not going to fix it. That won't fix it. You better turn the ship around. You better turn the ship around. You're going to hit an iceberg. And this study of 6 years proved my point. If you had good levels of insulin, which would give you equals good levels of biomarkers, blood pressure, belly fat, triglycerides, and HDL, blood glucose, A1C. A1C. I like a few others too that I put into metabolic syndrome. CRP, C-reactive protein, even uric acid. I put those in those metabolic categories. And here's the other couple of things that Tony Jr. and I do to put in metabolic categories because they should be measured as part of metabolic syndrome. Vitamin D, your dehydroxy, your vitamin D in your bloodstream. How much is it? Because I'm telling you, if you got bad levels of that, or not optimized levels of that, it's a biomarker to tell you that you're not healthy. And, anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked too much. The other one that I put into a metabolic category, and this is just me personally over the years, that it was part and parcel, was B12. What are your levels of B12? Because it did have an effect on insulin. Your food has an effect on that. Anyways. You see, guys, There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees. You could be the healthiest person in the world. Never eat another piece of sugar or carb in your life. But you can still get hit by a bus. That part. Do you know what I'm saying? And even if you're the most perfect eater in the universe, you will age. Now, you're going to age slower, but you're still going to age. It's the second law of thermodynamics, okay? You know what the second law of thermodynamics is? Everything deteriorates. I used to be young. Okay? I used to have a full head of hair. I miss it. I never had a wrinkle at one time. Okay? So I'm not looking, guys, for perfection. Okay? We're all going to age. We're going to deteriorate. That's the second law of thermodynamics. And when people tell me they're going to live till 120, I tell them, I don't think so. The odds are pretty stacked up against you. What I tell people is, okay, I want you to be healthy. I don't want to live till I'm 110. I don't. Not if I'm not healthy. Not if I don't have my brain. Not if I can't move. Not if I don't have quality of life. I'm not looking for time in a sense that, you know what I mean? Like 70. Okay, I hit it. Well, not officially, okay? But I'm in my 70th year. I'm so thankful. I am thankful. Okay, by the grace of God, I'm healthy. I like that. I'm very thankful about that, by the way. Okay, I am. And I try and do my part. I'm not telling you guys to do anything that I don't do. Okay, isn't that an interesting guy's study? It made me pontificate for quite a while because I get so worked up. We got a problem, Houston. Did you read the reset yet? We got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. What was that, Apollo 12? I can't remember. Apollo 6 or Apollo 12? I can't remember. One of them called Houston and said, we got a problem. We got a problem in our society today, guys. You're not part of the problem. You're part of the solution. I want people going out there and with the people that you can influence. You know how I built my practice over the years? Referral. People said, go see this guy. He's going to measure you. Not your waist, although we could. No, he's going to do testing that most doctors don't do. Go see him. I built my practice like that. But not only that, getting results. But I was a simple person. I wasn't that complicated. Your body's complicated, but we try and make it simple. Do what you can do. Get in that good category of people. Get in there. Get in that group. And what it is, it's food, primarily. There you go. There you go. Tomorrow is Question and Answer Friday. Fun. We always have fun. So it's not too late. You can send your questions in for Question and Answer Friday. You can sign up for the Martin Clinic private Facebook group if you're not part of it. You can sign up for the Doctor is In podcast and newsletter. We send out about 2 newsletters a week via your email. If you're not getting that, you need to sign up for it. And we send you a newsletter. A lot of these studies are right in the newsletter. You can sign up for, on your smart device, the Doctors In podcast. You can listen to them again. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Okay? We love you guys. Okay? Thanks for putting up with the rants. Okay? We appreciate it. Talk to you soon.